Hi everyone. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned in this course so far is about how nonverbal communication affects our relationships. We've all heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words. That's entirely true. How we convey a message is just as important as the words that we're saying. There's a few different types of nonverbal cues that we're giving off. One of them is kinesics. That's our body movements, such as gestures, our facial expressions, eye contact, things of that nature. We have haptics, which is touch. Think hugs, handshakes, putting an arm on a shoulder or hand on hand when you're speaking to somebody. There's also paralanguage, which is our tone, cadence, the volume at which we're speaking. All of those are playing a factor when we are in a conversation with somebody, and they can be just as important, like I said, as those words that we're speaking. There's also proxemics, which is the distance between you and your audience, how close you are to that person you're having the conversation with. For example, and I'm sure we've all felt something similar to this, is I recently had a conversation with somebody where they said all the right things. They nodded their head in approval at the right times, but they were distracted. They were hunched over, they were on their phone. The body language they were giving off was completely different than what they were saying. They said they heard me, but I definitely walked away from that conversation not feeling heard, not feeling like there's mutual respect during the conversation. And that's something I'm very cognizant of now after learning about these things. I am intentional about my eye contact. I'm intentional about how close I am with somebody. Sometimes just being a good listener is the best form of communication, showing respect for the other person when you're having a conversation. And I'll leave with this. I had an experience this morning, and kind of right now too, where I went to a coffee shop. I had a big flare up in my back issues, and I was kind of hunched over, and I knew all these people going in there, all the baristas, they want to talk. I felt uncomfortable because my face, my body language wasn't conveying the message of wanting to have a conversation at that time. And like my face wasn't engaged. It was kind of like holding back some pain there. And I had to say it out loud because I knew how our nonverbal cues affect those conversations. So I had to let them know, I'm like, hey, my back's just really hurting right now. I wanted them to know like why my body was not in the conversation the same way as the words I was saying. So I'll leave that with you guys. Keep in mind what you're saying with your hand gestures, your facial expressions, your eye contact, being on your phone during a conversation. Those tell a different story than what you're trying to say with your own words.